Good evening, BookTube. This is Johnny, and I'm sitting here on the Sunday night. It is August the 20th. It is 8:53 at night. Here in West Michigan, I can hear crickets outside. It's dark. Used to get dark around 9:30. Now it gets dark around 8:30. This morning when I woke up at 6:15, it was completely dark outside. So I'm sitting here in the dining room, like I'm always doing. I think I sit too much. Anyway, I was reading Romantic Outlaws, The Extraordinary Lives of Mary Wollstonecraft and Mary Shelley by Charlotte Gordon. Been reading that basically all day. This morning I read a little bit of that book. Well, I finished a sermon by Joseph Irons. And then I think I've been reading this book all day. I might have read some of this on by Lindell Gordon, Vindication, A Life of Mary Wollstonecraft. But I think I've been primarily reading this one all day. I think I'm trying to. I was reading this, and I want to get in here where I stopped in here. But what she does in this biography, one chapter will be on Mary Wollstonecraft, and then one chapter will be on Mary Godwin. And when she married Shelley, she became Mary Shelley. But she was the daughter of a radical philosopher. There was a picture of him in here I saw the day. I think it was in here. Oh, I can't remember if I saw it in here. He was... Oh, I don't know where it is. Anyway, so... Oh, there's a picture of him. His name was William Godwin. This was Mary Shelley, or Mary Godwin's father. Mary's mother, Mary Wollstonecraft, died in childbirth when she gave birth to Mary Shelley. So I mentioned this Lindell Gordon's biography on Mary Wollstonecraft, but I was going to show the thrift store books I got the other day at thrift stores, and one of them was a novel by Charlotte Bronte, Villette. I have Lindell Gordon's biography on Charlotte Bronte, A Passionate Life. So yeah, I haven't read this. I have several biographies on Charlotte Bronte, but put those together. And then I found at a thrift store this odd thing, Nell Kimball, Her Life as an American Madame, written by herself. This was first written like in the 1930s, but was published 1970s. Then I found this novel by Iain Pears, The Portrait. I have another novel of him downstairs in our library. Can't remember what it was. I think he's known for his novel. I think he writes historical fiction. He's famous for The Instance of the Finger Post. I have another novel of his downstairs. I found that. Then I found this essays by Gore, Vidal, Inventing a Nation, Washington, Adams, and Jefferson. I didn't know, when I saw this, I wasn't sure if I had it, and I bought it. So I have a double. I'll take this to the Book Nook when I go there next time, the library used bookstore. And I found The Age of Napoleon, it's a history by J. Christopher Herold. I had this already, but this is a better paperback. I mean, the cover's better. The other one was kind of, I didn't know if I had this. I bought it. It was only 60 cents. So now I have 2 copies. I'll take one of the copies to the Book Nooks. And then I started collecting these Patrick O'Brien's historical fiction of this Captain Jack Ombre. This one's The Fortune of War, and this one's The Surgeon's Mate by Patrick O'Brien. I start collecting these. I think I have 5 now. And then I found this book. I collect books on the West, on American Indians, 19th century American history. I found this, 38 Nooses, Lincoln, Little Crow, and the Beginning of the Frontier is the End by Scott M. Berg. And then I found at a thrift store this book, To the Letter, A Celebration of the Lost Art of Letter Writing by Simon Garfield. For those who know, I collect letters. I like reading letters by poets and writers and painters and editors and journalists. And I don't think I have any presidential letters. I just got letters by Lord Byron. I got all kinds of letters. But this is on the lost art of letter writing. Now we don't write letters. We text, we send emails, but to really actually sit down and write letters, we don't do it anymore. Many, many years ago, I had pen pals. I used to write to guys in prisons. I had a friend over in England I wrote to for 25 years. I had some other pen pals, short periods of time, but I stopped writing letters because I got to a place where I had nothing to write about anymore. I think it's about when I started writing in my journals, in my online journals, in LiveJournal, in Diaryland, that I got out of my system what I wanted to write instead of writing letters to people. Also, to be really honest, I used to write letters to, when I got out of Bible college and seminary, I would write to guys I knew in seminary and Bible college, and they never wrote back. I would write letters, and I'd call up these people, and I would reach out, and they never responded. They never wrote me letters or called me, so after a while, I gave up. And it's always kind of surprising because people might call me kind of like a recluse or kind of shy or non-communicative, but I've always been the one to reach out to people. Ministers, elders, people in church. I was always reaching out, trying to be friendly, talk, pour out my gut, be truthful, look people in the eyeball, be totally human in all my brokenness, and people would just stare at me like I was like some alien from another planet, and they never really responded in any kind of. Well, I mean, I had one guy that I used to meet with. He moved away, but so now I don't. I have one friend here in Holland. I meet once in a while, and we talk. But I tend to just stay to myself, write in my online diaries. Now I'm making booktube videos, and I grow old. I'm 65, and I'm just going downhill. So the other book I found, this is my last book I found at a thrift store, Africa's Child, which has raised money for wells, clean water in Africa. It's a kind of missionary kind of thing. It's called Jerusalem. It's really a nice book. It's perfect condition. It is a Princeton University Press book. It's called Jerusalem, the Holy City in the Eyes of Chroniclers, Visitors, Pilgrims, and Prophets from the days of Abraham to the beginning of modern times. This was published in 1985. Princeton University Press. I have all kinds of books on Jerusalem. See, there's all kinds of illustrations in there of of ancient Jerusalem. You know, all kinds of things here. Looks like a really interesting book. I have all kinds of books on Jerusalem. When I think about Jerusalem, I always think about that passage in the Epistle of Hebrews. It's in the New Testament. I think I can find it. I have my Bible that I'm always reading. It says in the Epistle of Hebrews, let me think I can find it. Yeah. It says, "For you have not come to the mountain that may be touched, that burned with fire, and blackness, and darkness, and tempest, and the sound of a trumpet, and the voice of words, so that those who heard it begged that the word should not be spoken to them anymore." He's talking about here, the writer of Hebrews, when the Ten Commandments, the Torah, was given on Mount Sinai there in Exodus, in the Old Testament, that the mountain was on fire, and God said that only Moses was allowed to ascend up into the cloud to receive the stone tablets. Anybody who would touch the mountain, would come near, would be destroyed. He says, and the sound of a trumpet and the voice of words, so that those who heard it begged that the word should not be spoken to them anymore, for they could not endure what was commanded. And if so much a beast touches the mountain, it shall be stoned or shot with an arrow. And so terrifying was the sight that Moses said, "I am exceedingly afraid and trembling." But you have come to Mount Zion, to the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, to an innumerable company of angels, to the general assembly, the church of the firstborn, who are registered in heaven, to God the judge of all, to the spirits of just men made perfect, to Jesus the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaks better things than that of Abel. So yeah, so Christians are marching up to the heavenly Jerusalem, the eternal city of God. So that was the book I got. So I got Jerusalem by F.E. Pears. I got this book on the lost art of letter writing. I can't remember the last time I wrote a letter. I cannot remember. Got this book, 19th century American history, about Lincoln, Little Crow, and the beginning of the Frontier's Inn, 38 Nooses, historical fiction, the age of Napoleon, essays by Gore, Vidal on Washington, Adams, and Jefferson, a novel by Iain Pears, the memoirs of a woman who ran a whorehouse back in the 1901, just before the First World War. And I got this novel by Charlotte Bronte, Villette. And I've been reading The Romantic Outlaws, Extraordinary Lives of Mary Wollstonecraft and Mary Shelley. It's good to read both. Like I've mentioned in other videos, when I read a biography, I like to read 2 or 3 at the same time of the same person, if I can. So I'm enjoying both of these. They both add things that you find things in here that you don't find things in here. So they really complement one another. And I'm still reading Frankenstein, the new annotated Frankenstein. I'll probably read this tomorrow night, take a break from the biographies. So that's it as far as book world. This is Sunday night. Tomorrow is Monday. My wife works tonight. She'll sleep. She'll get up. And then early Tuesday morning around 3:30, 4 o'clock, she'll get up and drive to the Grand Rapids Airport, and she'll take a flight out of GR and nonstop to Denver, Colorado. And I'll be here talking to myself, or talking into this camera, or just talking to nobody. So until next time, I hope you had a good weekend, that you'll have a good new week. Thank you for the subscribers. Thank you for the comments. There's something I wanted to ask people to do, but I can't remember now. I should write things down. So have a good night. Have a good week. Until next time, bye.